Hello, this is Clara, and you can call me Mother, and welcome to Studio Yutani. This is our first live stream, and oh my goodness, we are having so many technical issues. I apologize. So today I've got a couple of guests, and we'll be joined later by Officer Joe Kay, who is Mike Andrews. Currently he's busy at work, so he's unable to make it right now. So, sorry about that. Hello. So, basically what I wanted to go through is just a couple of things, just so we can maybe break the ice and kind of speak about the projects that we're doing at Yutani, and also give you an opportunity to throw through a few questions in regards to all of the stuff that's happening. But first, let me please welcome Maitland Eves, who's also known as Project Acheron. Hello, Maitland.
Hello, how are you all?
Thank you for coming on. And I'd also like to introduce Michael Scuderi from Ash, a fan fiction comic.
Why, hello there.
If you guys want to share links to your channel in the chat, go ahead, feel free. Hey, so we want to say hi to people who are watching at the moment. Benjamin Scottford, Devon Gill, Potato Reviews. If you are in the channel, say hi so I know that you're there. Yeah, let's just take a couple of questions from people in the audience, I guess. And yeah, I would like to find out if you guys had any questions for any of us.
Come on, don't be shy.
There's going to be a bit of lag as well, so.
Well, if there's any problems, I'll ask questions.
Oh, sounds good.
You're going to do it in your creepy Ash voice or in your creepy David voice?
Hey, you can do a good multiple.
Maybe I'll just have Ash ask David question. All right, never mind.
Oh my god, that'll blow my mind.
There we go.
You've already put the seed of that in our heads, so now you have to.
Oh, I know, right?
At some point in the
it'll happen. It's going to happen sometime in the next 2 hours. Ash is going to pop in and say hi.
All right, we got a first question.
All right, Benjamin Scottford's asking, do you think there is a possibility of seeing comics of more unproduced scripts and concepts, like potentially the Neil Blomkamp movie? I would have to say there's a possibility for that to happen, depending on the popularity of Johnny Christmas's William Gibson's Alien 3 comic. As well as that, I don't currently feel that there is going to be a comic for Alien 5, because I spoke to someone who's worked on the project, and the last thing that they said to me is that it's still being considered. So it's not completely dead yet. I think it's all about waiting for people to become available and schedules to free up. As you know, all the actors are on different projects, the directors are on different projects, people are being tied up. So it's understandable that something like this is just going to lay dormant until everyone's ready, or it might fizzle out, just like when James Cameron and Ridley Scott were going to do Alien 2 together, or something like that, or was it Alien 3? So,
well, I guess
sure.
that makes sense, because Alien 3, that comic of the unused script, only came about because that movie was definitely not happening.
Yeah, and there was the alternative comic as well, which was when Hicks and Newt were also alive, and they changed it to Billy and
Wilkes.
Wilkes. It's such a horrible name. I always have trouble saying it.
I know, yeah. Wilkes.
So yeah, I think unproduced scripts, if they were really, really old, or something that could never be brought to life on the screen again, then yeah, definitely it would definitely come into comic form. We'll take another question.
Well, I have there's one thing I don't see much mention of if you go to vincentwardfilms.com, Vincent Ward has basically kind of a tease for a graphic novel version of his Wooden Planet version of Alien 3. And it goes through the entire film. There's screenshots of artwork for the entire film that it says right on the website that he's hoping to turn it into a graphic novel, which I would love, because I know it wasn't a hugely popular concept with a lot of people, but I love to see that Wooden Planet concept completely fleshed out. I think there's a lot of really cool subtext in his story, even though I don't totally agree with some of the moves he made regarding the alien. But yeah, his story is pretty cool.
Yes, I'd have to agree with you, Mike, there. That would probably be... I mean, I see a lot of potential, even like unused Prometheus scripts could eventually be adapted. As you say, probably not for a while. It would probably take a fair amount of time before they even considered doing something like that. But they have a ton of Prometheus and Paradise Lost scripts that were never used, are probably not going to be used in a future film because it's already sort of established in canon what's happened in those films, that I see that they could easily do another comic book series on, or even a novel, or like, something like that.
Interesting.
Cool. I think the next question's for you, Hyperdyne. How many pages will the Ash fanfiction comic be?
Okay, this is a tricky one. I'm looking at between 80 and 100. And that's tentative. It could be a little bit more than that.
Wow, that's awesome.
Doing some...
That's nice.
Yeah, for you guys, yeah. It's
we appreciate it. We really do.
Enormous amount of work. So
that's really amazing.
Yeah. So is that going to be like a proper book? Like you can print it out and hard copy and everything?
At the moment, the only plan is for it to be a web comic, partly because of the length, and also I feel like I could be erring on the side of danger or receiving a cease and desist were I to put it into print and distribute it in a physical form. You do it on the internet, and the title is a fan fiction comic, so that I'm not going to get punched in the face by 20th Century Fox or Disney at this point, who will suddenly you won't see me anymore.
Oh yes,
you'll be taken away, chucked in the loony bin. Yeah,
right. Ash fan fiction. What Ash fan fiction? Who? Michael Scudery? Exactly. What is that?
I can't wait for it. I'm really excited. Ever since I saw like the first couple of sketches when Nostromo Files shared it, I was like, "What is this? Oh my lord!" And when you went into the detail of just all the different crew rankings and stuff like that, I knew you were serious about it, and I knew we'd become friends because that's the sort of detail that I appreciate.
Yeah, well, that's the other reason it's called a fan fiction comic, is because it's stress on the fan. Like I really wanted fans of the original film to be getting something that they'd really appreciate, because I know as much as I have enjoyed the new films, I think a lot of people were very disappointed by them. So I like the idea of bringing back the original characters, which we can never really see again. You can't do a sequel to Alien with Brett and Parker in it. And, I feel like most people were like, well, what happened before that? And it's like, well, it's not really very interesting what happened before that. There's not much of a story. And actually, there is quite a story before that.
Awesome. I can't wait.
Sounds very exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. I can't wait to see it myself when it's done.
All right. So our next question comes from Potato Reviews. He's asked, future projects planned for your channels. So if Project Asheron, you want to take this first?
Yeah, sure. So really, for the future of my channel, leading into 2019, I've got the rest of the Alien Awakening animated series coming out. So episodes 4 through, I don't know whether it's going to be 8 or 9 because I haven't really worked out where I want to end it. I've got most of the stuff in between, but the ending's sort of evading me. Besides that, I've got a couple of new series. I've got my character catalog series, which is obviously a breakdown of all the alien characters, and then I've got the species series, which is obviously breakdown of all the species in the alien universe. But I'm starting up a new one called Tech Talks, following the same line as character catalog, species series, Tech Talk, which will go over all the ships and the machines, technologies, stuff like that. Besides from that, I'm starting, it's like a bringing a comic book to life series. So I'll be reading out some of the comic books, and that some will be narration, some will be voice acting, and I'll be putting scenes of the pages up there and having sound effects and sort of making it like a mini, almost like bringing it to life through a video. So you'll be able to experience the comic book in another way, an audio
that would be cool.
experience, like an audio book. So the first one I'm starting is Defiance, but if that goes well, I'll probably end up doing a lot more of the series too.
Wow.
Defiance is a really good one to start on because I just love that comic. It's just so good.
Yeah.
And we're going to have the lead on with Alien Resistance too.
Yes, exactly. So that's just perfect. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, it should be pretty good. Well, I hope so. We shall see.
Yes. Future projects for my channel. Now, there's quite a few things that we had on the books at the start of the year, and then my video director and editor, Ancient of Days, he runs his channel, had to study, and he had to put down all tools and just stop work, unfortunately, which kind of left me in the lurch. We were going to cover Prometheus and do a video on the Green Stone. But as you guys know, we've just released the trailer, so we're going to pick up where we left off.
That was pretty awesome, by the way.
It's all his work. He's fantastic. I just give him a concept and he puts it all together, so that's really great. So we're going to be tackling the mystery of the Green Stone in pursuit of perfection.
Yes.
So it's going to be a series. It's not going to be just one video. It's going to cover all of the different mythologies and where Prometheus has taken all of these stories and how they kind of merge with our reality and our history, and how it merges into the alien universe history. And that's one of the things that I really enjoy. So that's just one of the projects. Another one we were considering tackling was creating a proper making of for Alien Covenant in the vein of the Furious Gods, and it's a really, really massive project. We will be pulling stuff from behind the scenes. I'm going to get in touch with a lot of people who worked on the movie. I'm going to try to get some individual interviews with people, but that's a really long project which we haven't given an end date for, but it's something that we really want to do. Yeah. So, and I really admire Charles de la Zurica and what he did with Prometheus and the Furious Gods. So to be able to even try to be on that level, I don't know how it's going to work out, but we're going to try. We're fans. We love.
If there's someone who can do it.
Yeah, that's why they call me Mother.
Yeah.
Yes, Mum.
So it's very you're the third person to call me Mum this week. First it was Alien Theory, and then it was Nostromo
I think
Files,
it was Daryl,
and now
right?
it's you.
Nostromo Files.
Everyone just calls me Mum now. Very British.
Cup of tea, Mum.
Perfect. Sorry, I'm getting a bit flustered because I'm a bit embarrassed. Even though I do these live streams and these podcasts, I still get a bit of nerves. So I'm sorry if I laugh a lot because that's what I do when I'm nervous.
Trust me, I'm not much better.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. So that's that. And then I've, as you guys know, I've got a physical studio. So I've got Claw Creative Studios, which is kind of like the physical version of Studio Yutani. So I'm aiming to support creatives in the Melbourne community and in around the world. And I'm hoping to get a channel up and running where we will be able to interview and stream creatives in any sort of profession. So, for example, I'm a jeweler, so we would do a live stream of me making a ring from start to finish. You know, whether people would be interested in that, I'm not sure, but it's all about highlighting the sort of work that goes into something. I think we kind of live in a very instant coffee culture where we expect everything right here, right now, and at a really low price, and that's to the detriment of artists and people trying to make a living. Even though I'm all up for automation and a really great future where all human beings can relax and we all have universal healthcare and pay, to get back to that sort of level, we have to understand that handmade stuff is really special and really important. So that's what Claw Creative Studios is about. That's why I've started the website to showcase all the people that I know who have done stuff. You know, they're very creative. They do all these things and make all these things. So that's what I'll be doing. And
do you think you're going to have your American location in Seattle?
Yeah, so the idea with
you taking applications for who will head that up? So I'm a jeweler too.
Yeah, so basically, if we do really well in Melbourne, I want to open up studios everywhere with different championing different professions. So there'll be woodworkers, there'll be ceramicists, and it will be all the shared studio idea. And ideally, people who are part of Studio Yutani or part of Claw Creatives, they would be able to open up their own satellite studio in the world. So we will have, ideally, places everywhere. And
wow,
that's a really big dream, and I don't know whether it's going to happen. And who knows, someone might copy my idea, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that we're supporting the creative community, and it's my plan to take over the world.
If you'll indulge
real
me.
Yutani.
That's right. So yeah, like in a nutshell, those are the big major things that my channel wants to do. But we might be moving over to live streaming and not podcasts. Like podcasts will be for interviews, but it's going to be a lot harder because I'll be working full time now as a studio director at Claw Creative, and I'll be doing my work. And as well as that, you know, my daughter starts school next year, and my son is getting older and very mischievous. So we'll see what I'll be able to contribute, but I hope I'll be able to contribute just as much. And I hope other people who are part of Studio Yutani or friends of Studio Yutani are willing to pitch in where they can to keep our project alive. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Wow, amazing.
Let's take another question. So also, what's all of your personal favorite type of xenomorph? Maitland, did you want to start off with that? Project Acheron?
Yeah, well, I think I've said it before, but it's just the regular old base drone, like the big chap that we see in the first Alien film. And if you want some reasoning for that, really, to me, it's just the epitome of the alien. Everyone has like all these different casts that they really like you know, like from when they start building hives, they get like warriors and queens and praetorians and stuff like that. But you know, if the hive is destroyed or to build a hive, you need a drone. You need a drone to build the hive. It's the ultimate survivor. It knows how to deal with other living things quite well. It's the perfect, well, I would have to say predator for other organisms. But even when a hive fails, it's probably the thing that's going to survive, and it can run away and start a whole new one. I don't know. There's something about the big chap and the drone that
it's
really
just very
speaks
versatile.
There's well, I would just say it is the epitome of the true xenomorphs, I would say.
Fantastic answer. How about you, Hyperdyne? What do you think?
The original is perfect. Aptly named Perfect Organism.
Yep.
I'm talking more of a out of universe standpoint, like from aesthetic standpoint. The original is just unbeatable to me. Other than that, James Cameron, I think the three from the first three films, each time we get something new, they really hit on something amazing and new with all three of the first films. You have the Big Chap, which no one's ever seen anything like that before. Then you have the Queen in the second movie, which is amazing to me that somebody could top Big Chap in any way or come close to it. And boy, that Queen is amazing. And then in the third film, I think ADI did a really fantastic job doing something novel and new for the third movie. So I think, but still, yeah, for me, it's definitely the original.
Awesome. Unbeatable.
Geeker.
I feel a lot of pressure now. Even though I really love the original, I would have to say the Alien Queen is my biggest love. And second to that would be the Runner, which is surprising. And not the Runner in Alien 3, but the Runner that H.R. Geiger designed, the one with the lips.
Oh, yeah, the kind of elongated one, stylized.
Yeah,
I like that one.
Statue one that he has. Whatever. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's got Michelle Pfeiffer's lips or something like that. Maybe it's because, girl power, that sort of thing. But the Alien Queen, she's just so epic. She's just ginormous. She's ginormous. She's oppressive. She's, just... I would say she's beautiful, but some people say she's really disgusting laying those eggs. But
those stilettos. Oh yeah.
It depends on your definition of beauty, I guess.
Yeah.
What context you use.
I love creepy stuff, so maybe that's why.
Hell yeah.
So those are my favorites, and so it would be the Queen, it'd be the lip Xeno, and then it would be the Big Chap.
I love that.
Just on aesthetics, but if you're talking about yes, interesting. So
we completely forgot about the gremlin alien baby thing from Alien Resurrection. That's definitely my favorite.
Really?
The only alien that looks like it should be wearing a diaper.
That's true. It does kind of have that baby punch as well. Could you imagine changing the diaper of that alien? I'm glad we never, ever had to see what it does to go to the toilet, because, oh my lord.
That couldn't have been any worse than the way it died.
If my kids look cute and disgusting stuff comes out of them, I would not like to see what comes out of that alien.
Yeah.
All right. Whew. Okay, so the next question from Random Dude, the wooden space station. Oh, maybe Hyperdyne can elaborate on it.
Oh, what about it?
he's like, the wooden space station. He's like, the wooden space station? He doesn't know about it. Let's tell him about it.
All right, so the wooden space station was in Vincent Ward's Alien script. I think that was the final script where they started actually building the sets for the film before the producers came in and started doing changing the story from the planet ended up being prisoners on a prison planet, but originally it was a wooden planet where technology was totally rejected by the monks who lived there. It was entirely populated by monks, and they only had a little tiny bit of, they had a heart of technology, basically, a technological heart, just to regulate oxygen and things like that. It was just such a fantastic concept to me. It kind of looked like the Death Star, but made out of wood, and very small. And I just loved the idea of them kind of, leaving technology behind, and the whole undercurrent of the story is really interesting. I don't want to spoil it here. If you want to go and take a look at the script, it's online. And then if you have the Alien quadrilogy or anthology or anything, obviously it's detailed pretty well there, and there's a lot of the artwork you can find. Or you can go to vincentwardfilms.com and you can check out all of the stuff there about it. So
awesome. That's great. There's also a concept artist that is actually rendering the entire comic, by the way. He's going to make it. So as soon as I can find the because I follow so many concept artists, but as soon as I can find the tweet or the link, it'll be updated on the Yutani.studio website.
Awesome.
Great.
Cool. So let's take the next question. Oh, there's a lot of responses, but no questions currently. Let's see. Da-da-da-da-da. Oh, yeah, Claire likes your David impression. Galactic News Hub. Thanks, Claire.
Contact me anytime.
Sorry. Oh, you're just making me die right here. Stop putting things in my drink.
I love your hoodie.
Yes, my Prometheus hoodie. I feel very space age.
Hell yeah.
Where did
Where'd
I
you
get
that? Yeah.
I blame Aaron Percival. He shared some website that was making them at the beginning of the year, and I ordered one straight away. I can't remember. But okay. I will also post that to the blog after our talk. I'll look it up. I know I've got the address somewhere.
You a long time ago, but then I've completely forgotten about it.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think I actually saw that conversation.
Yeah. I do remember saying something about it.
I love it. I love it so much. I would sleep in it if it was more comfortable, but it's got this amazing thing where the lace has metal on the end, and that kind of pokes you when you're sleeping, so I can't sleep with it.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay. Yeah. Devon has Potato Reviews, it says open one in Britain. We've got some people in the UK, I believe. We've got Zoe Wibble, and she has a PhD in science. I don't know how that would work with Claw Creatives, but we will make it work. All right. Don't open one in Texas. It would be wasted on the consumer landscape there. Yep, that's so true. Greetings from the deep south, from Nostromo Files. Hello, Nostromo Files. Thank you for coming to the stream.
Hey.
Darrow.
Random Dude has asked, do you draw? Is that question for me or for Hyperdyne or for Project Acheron? Because we all kind of draw. Like Project Acheron does Alien Awakening animated series, and Hyperdyne does Ash, a fan fiction comic. And I'm just trying to find my pins that I made, which I drew during Inktober. Like, I feel a lot of pressure when it comes to art. I had a really cruel art teacher who used to yell at me, and kind of, it made me feel like she was going to beat me, but she wouldn't. But she was very scary. And when I didn't do something right, yeah, it kind of traumatized me when it comes to art. So I'm still kind of getting over it. But I bucked up this year and I started drawing stuff. So this pin that I'm showing you now is the big chap I drew, and I made it into a pin because I drew it onto a shrinky dink. So I guess I'm okay at art. I'm going to try to sell these.
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, I'm going to try to sell these on the website. And I've even got like, this is my favorite. I don't know whether I want to sell it, but I have to make some money for Yutani because this hobby is costing me a lot of money. So I'll be selling all of my pins on Studio Yutani next year once I get the light box set up and I can photograph them and package them properly. So yeah, I will also include links to Alien Awakening animated series and also to Asher fanfiction comics so you can see all of our drawing skills and not just mine.
Thank you very much.
Mitch Mitchell has asked, what's the bonus situation? Well, you know, you'll get your shares, okay? We just have to make sure that we do the recovery of the vessel. Come onto our Discord. Everyone gets.
We haven't gone over it yet.
We have a promotion system for people who participate. So if you hop onto Discord, Me6, our little bot over there, he will set you up with ranking. So just make sure you pop on in. It'll get better. You'll get promoted. Don't worry. You'll get your shares. So I'm just going to pop in a connection to the Yutani Discord. And I must admit, it's quiet most of the time because I'm just not there. I'm too busy having a life and taking care of the kids. But if you'd like to speak to our Me6 Discord bot, I have a lot of fun pre-programmed scripts that will activate when you type in ! And then something like neomorph, for example. And some of them are randomized, so you'll get a different response every time. So come in, say hello, get promoted, get your bonus. Okay, so the Puma-looking one. The Puma-looking one? I don't know what you're talking
Puma,
about.
like a big cat.
Oh right.
It sort of looks like a puma ready to pounce sort of thing.
Oh yeah, but I don't.
The dog. What is it? The runner alien you were talking about before.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah,
I still haven't drawn the runner. I really should. It's one of my favorites. So yeah,
draw Kenner's night cougar alien.
Yes.
Maybe that's what he means.
Yeah. Or maybe I could draw the lips alien.
Oh yeah. The
Give it a
cover
little
girl
kiss.
alien.
Mwah. Sexiest looking alien of all time. Yes, it absolutely is, and I think that's something it's really, really Geiger in the sense that it's got that sort of like sexual tone, but it's also repulsive because it's an alien, but it's also deadly. So, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's like Syl before she got a nip and a tuck and like a makeover one weekend. She found her new look.
Yeah, definitely.
Wouldn't it be
and then
amazing?
She made the Species movies.
Wouldn't it be amazing if Death Becomes Her would be like just that alien? It'd be amazing. I would love to see Michelle Pfeiffer in that role, reprise the role of the runner. Okay.
Oh boy.
All right. Potato Reviews has asked, how do you think the Disney takeover will affect the Alien franchise? Hyperdine, do you want to take this one?
Sure. I think that Disney tends, if they're going to go into something, they don't go into it to mess it up. They are going to bide their time. They're going to make sure they're doing it right. I know how wrong this sounds after the last two Star Wars movies, but the first two, I think, kind of hit the nail on the head, especially Rogue One, particularly Rogue One. was masterwork. And I don't think they'll mess it up. I think if they want to make 1 or 2 Alien movies, I'm excited about that, because even if they're kind of a retread, I think they'll bring something new and it'll be done right, which I think we could all do with one of these movies just being made properly, like the right cinematography. Maybe a kind of a parsed down story, a la the first movie. I think that's where they would start. And I wouldn't mind. That'd be great.
How about you, Project Asheron? What do you think?
Well, I have to probably agree with most of what Mike's saying. Again, when Disney took over the Star Wars property, I think they did very much what Mike just said. They sat on it for a little bit. They sort of looked over it and said, okay, what works and what doesn't. They sort of de-canoned like all of the previous extended universe and then made the new canon. A lot of people were angry at that. I'm one of the people that didn't mind that. Simply just because the old EU in that was out of control. It was there was some really weird stuff in there. But the new canon, it's still it took a while to get back up to where you had a lot of content to go over, but it's still now at the point where we are now in 2018, a couple of years after the Disney merger, 4 years, whatever. There's a lot more variety. You've got stuff that appeals to all different kinds of people. Again, I really loved Rogue One. I didn't mind The Force Awakens. The Last Jedi was probably my least favorite. I didn't mind Solo either. I thought that was all right. But in terms of the Alien franchise, I could see them sitting on it for a couple of years and then deciding what works best in these Alien films and trying to cater sort of like in the mid-ground, not exactly the true fans and not exactly just mainstream audiences, but something in the middle. So I feel like they could do a good job with it as long... Look, I really want the Giga stuff to be brought back because that's what made the first film and the second film really good. And what made Prometheus good, in my opinion, was not so much Giga stuff, but an exploration of big mythos stories and stuff like that, which was sort of lost in Covenant. And Alien 3 has it to a degree, but then Resurrection, I don't mind the film, but it lost a lot of the Giga and mythos stuff and was more just like I don't really know. It wasn't a bad film, but it sort of lost the idea of those two. So I think if they stay to a certain formula and come up with some interesting stories, and I'd really like them to finish off the prequels, but who knows what they're going to do. Anyway, I'm pretty optimistic. Cool.
I don't know. I had all of these ideas at the beginning of the year. My first podcast was actually what would Alien Awakening entail? What are the possibilities? And I must admit, like, the past year has disheartened me in what could be happening. I know that the film is still going ahead, but we don't have any news. There hasn't been any major announcements. It's all kind of stalled. But you know, things will happen. We just have to be patient. And I keep having to say that to myself. It's kind of my mantra right now to try to deal with the whole situation. But I do really hope that we get something really interesting and different. I think that Prometheus was the only film to kind of dare to do that. And I would like to see that happen again. Even though Covenant played it safe, and even though I loved that film, I feel like the original concepts for Prometheus 2 would have been the better path to go. It would have been the one that pleased the fans, with Elizabeth Shaw being alive. And even if she died in that film later, even at the hands of David, I think it would have been more effective than having her killed off screen. Yeah. Okay.
I think that was one of their big mistakes. Was the
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. All right, let's see. Who else? Devin Gill goes, we made you because we could. Ozzy Mendias, King of Kings. Look on my work, see mighty in despair. Thank you for the compliment on the hoodie. I really love it. All right. Nostromo Files asks, Clara and Michael, have you given any thought to any tie-in bling that might benefit the release of Ash, a fan fiction? You both have sculpted jewelry, etc., so it seems worth asking about. That's interesting. You should say that. I had a dream last night. I was dreaming of Michael, and we had a
my.
Oh my god!
I'll be back in just 1 second.
Yep, no problem.
I'm just making it worse.
Yes, you are. Don't touch anything, David. So I had this dream that we had opened up an online shop selling alien-themed jewelry. Now, there is a very fine line you have to tread with jewelry. Unfortunately, you wouldn't be able to sell multiples of them. They have to be one-off pieces, I believe, and they have to be fan pieces, so they can't be imitations. If you start selling a lot of something, then Disney or Fox will come banging down your door and say that money belongs to us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the axe.
Yeah.
So
you're gonna get the horns.
So we were doing bespoke pieces. So yeah, if that's something that Hyperdine would like to do in future with me, have a alien jewelry store online, we could totally do it through.
I am so in.
We could totally do it through Studio Yutani, and we can split the profits or the costs or whatever. We'll nut it out, because when it comes to jewelers, because we're doing bespoke pieces, it'll be individual pieces, etc., and stuff like that. And we're not allowed to make too much money off it, otherwise Disney and Fox will go, no. But we're big fans, and I would love to be able to make jewelry pieces. And I think both of us are different enough that we would have an interesting range of stuff.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we wouldn't be stepping on each other's feet. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I am thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Maitland. Were you going to say something, Maitland?
No. I just returned.
Okay.
Sorry.
No worries. Yeah, I've made a couple of jewelry pieces for fun. And for Ash, what I was thinking, and I probably shouldn't even say it. I wanted to do these for myself, but I'm not against reproducing a few for people who have been helping me out, sharing the pages. You know who you are. Mm-hmm. And I'm creating a NECA style Ash. And I'm planning to make the packaging for it too. It's just a display piece for myself. But
if you need money to realize that dream, I'm right here.
Oh, I know you are. I know.
I love the androids, and I'm all on board with that idea.
Removable head and everything. It's going to be great.
Oh my god.
But I was also thinking, since I don't see NECA producing the original cast of Alien past what they've done already, maybe they will at some point. I've been thinking about doing Brett and Parker as well, because I just love those characters. I've already made Brett's head, Harry Dean Stanton's head, and I've already made Ian Holmes' head, and past that, the bodies are quite a bit easier to make than the heads, because the likenesses are so small and they have to be dead on if you want it to be like NECA's stuff. So
please do,
and I want to make the packaging for them. I want to do all that stuff because I just think it'd be fun. And I wouldn't mind producing a few for some friends. So we'll see what happens with that. But besides that, and they are going to be Ash, a fan fiction comic figures. So they might not be in the movie garments. They might actually be wearing stuff from the comic, and the packaging artwork will be for Ash, a fan fiction comic, not Alien. So I just thought they would be kind of cool.
I would fangirl scream right now if my microphone wasn't on, and I would torture people around the world. That's amazing.
Well, those won't be for a little while. I mean, the soonest would probably be the end of this coming summer, just because I have to be working full time on the comics starting the next week or two.
Oh, that's understandable
so,
because of the deadline.
Yeah, it's a shit ton of work. Sorry to swear, but it's
all
a
right.
lot of work.
Yeah. Ozzy Mandias, King of Kings, has asked, what is with the fidget spinner? You know what? That was on the Prometheus screen. So we've got the Prometheus screen graphics in the background just looping. And right now we are on the head scan for the, what is it? The Space Jockey? Yeah. So I don't know. It is Prometheus. So, you know, maybe back then whoever was at Territory Studio came from the future and knew about fidget spinners. Put it in the background. Claire wants a bot for your channel, Maitland. I wish I could transfer it across, but when you start modifying it for the individual channel, you have to program each one. Yeah, you have to program each one to each response in, and I've got over 129 responses.
Oh god, nice.
Yeah, and it's growing, so it takes time, but you can do it. I believe in you.
I will try my very best.
All right.
Try harder. I'm sorry. I just figured I'd do it periodically.
I love it, dude.
It gives me shivers. Stop it. Like shivers, I'm scared, and shivers like, oh my god, David.
It's so spot on, though.
Yeah.
Shivering your timbers. Just part of the job.
Oh my lord.
When did you realise?
David, it's officially not part of your job.
When did you first realise you could do these voices so well?
He's easy. I think I have a kind of a similar timbre to my voice as him, and you just kind of breath it up and do British gentleman accent. It's basically David, and then from there I was just kind of doing for your project. I was like, let me get into some of the nuances, and so I literally went through some of the dialogue from the films and was just trying to emulate speech patterns and look at where he's placing his diphthongs and how he says his S's and U's and all that extra stuff. So I don't know. I like doing impressions. I've done a number of impressions for different projects over the years. Did John Lennon for a commercial. I did. Oh wow. I did a few people. I had to do Trump and Hillary and President Obama.
No. Yeah, let's give us. Come on, Trump impression. Let's go.
No. The Trump is the worst one too. Like I can do Obama way better than Trump, which I'm proud to say. Mr. Trump is suggesting the election was rigged. That's just crazy.
Oh my god.
That is awesome.
That's crazy.
This is huge. Next stop, the White House. My Trump is horrible, but it's kind of purposely horrible because I was like, he's a freaking cartoon character anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
Potato Review says he was referring to the Alien 3 that I mentioned.
Oh, sweet.
The big lips. Yeah. Cool. Random Dude says the baby from Covenant is cute. Are you talking about the chest burster or are you talking about the back burster? Because people have different reactions. I love both, but some people don't like the chest burster that much.
Well, I think the chest burster, that's sort of a... Like, I believe, and I mean, it was pretty much confirmed by both the novelization of Alien Covenant and by David's drawings, the canon novel or whatever, like his little notebook, that the xenomorph we see in there, that little, I don't know what you'd call it, the baby burst or the chest burst or whatever, it's not a true xenomorph. It's David's recreation of a base template that the engineers had within their temples. So that's why it's so different. And if that's the case, I have no problem with it. I think it's an awesome thing to add in, that there's a little bit of variation, that David wasn't able to create it exactly the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that little,
agree.
sorry, go ahead. That's all right.
I really like the fact that this chestburster is exactly what Ridley Scott imagined for the first movie, but wasn't possible back then because of the limitations to practical effects and VFX, of course. And the transparency, all of that was stuff that was before the movie was actually made. So I really liked the fact that it had all of those elements. Some people may have missed that, but you know, I love it. I think it's cute. I got to hold it when I was at Odd Studio, and I cradled it in my arms. I was just stroking its little head.
The photos.
Oh yeah, no, I did that with the baby Neomorph, and I also did that with the Covenant chestburster. So yeah, I didn't get a photo of the chestburster though. But Adam Johansson folded it up like an accordion and squished it back into its box, and I was like, oh, poor baby.
She wonders why people call her mother or mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Potato Reviews said loved Rogue One. Yes, I love Rogue One as well. Do you guys like Rogue One?
Yeah. It's probably the best post-Disney movie of all of them, I would say.
Oh, Rogue absolutely. One. Yeah.
Yeah.
That Vader scene at the very end gives me goosebumps every time.
Definitely my favorite.
Yes. I remember sitting in the cinema with my girlfriend, Claire. We were there, and we were watching the movie, and there's a few things I'd be like, hey, look, that's that. And then that scene come up, and it was like the rebels, and then all of a sudden, like, his lightsaber turns on, and I, like, grabbed her arm. I'm like, look what's happening!
Yeah. The first time I saw that, every hair on my body was, like, standing on end for the last, 5 minutes of that movie. I was like, I can't believe this is happening right now. Like, I just have my hands on my head.
I think it was just...
Somebody calm me down right now.
Since post Disney, it was probably like the first new but true to the franchise scene. Like, you know what I mean? Like, episode 7 had a lot of I could say copies of older scenes from older movies and that. And you could tell it was Star Wars, but then when that film came out with the final scene with Vader and the Rebels or whatever, you had the first, I think, brand new type of iconic scene from the Disney films, and I think that for me was what made Rogue One such an amazing film.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Rogue One was just done so well. All the actors in it were great. There wasn't a whole load of political inclusions into it. We did have a fantastic female protagonist for once, which was just
what I liked.
Oh, she was so great in that movie.
I'm all for female, top female leads, like Ripley. She's amazing. She's an amazing, strong female character lead. But there's no social justice that goes behind it to push her. That's when I think it gets ruined, is when you put it up there, but then you try and support it with all this, it's just nonsense, really. Women and men can do the exact same job, just as good as each other, without needing this big, parade behind them saying, yes, they're good, you have to like them.
Yeah. I like where you're going with that. Yeah.
I think with with classic films like Ripley, it's perfectly shown that she didn't need any of this crap behind her to be an amazing female lead character. And same, I wouldn't say Jyn Erso from Rogue One is amazing, but she is a really good character to follow, and I think you can like her without having it forced down your throat. Sort of.
Exactly.
I feel like Rey has been a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like there has been, even speaking from a girl's perspective, for example, I really loved the Ghostbusters franchise. Watched every single movie. I know nearly all the lines off by heart. But when they brought out the new movie, I was really excited because it was oh my god, I'm going to be back into the universe that I really adore, and I'm going to have these characters that I could relate to and love. And the new movie was an absolute cringe fest for me.
Yeah, I remember I watched
really?
it too. That was the same.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's just something that I didn't get that same feeling as I did with the original movies, and I don't know whether that's nostalgia taking the reins there or something, but there's nothing about those characters that I liked that were in the original characters, and this is not even taking their sex into account. It's just the depth of the characters and the story. And I understand what they were trying to do is like flip the narrative, but for me it didn't work. And I know there's a lot of new fans out there who love the new movie, and that's fantastic. And I'm really sorry for them that there won't be another. But unfortunately, yeah, it just...
And that's what I mean. Sex shouldn't be brought in to the conversation, really. It's just whether they did a good job. Like, I don't like with the Ghostbusters that they're like, okay, so what do we got to do in the 21st century? Okay, let's make it all women because that's what's going now. It didn't have to be all women. It didn't have to be all men. It didn't have to be. It could have been anything as long as it was done right. But it's when things are forced that I think they become ruined. Because, as I said, your gender should not be brought in as a talking point for the film. Like, it shouldn't be like what makes the film good. It should be your acting. And it's a shame that that's sort of having a bit of a negative impact on films at the moment. But then you still get amazing films where it doesn't matter where you're from, like what part of the country you're from, which part of the world, or what gender you are. You're just an amazing actor who can bring a tremendous performance to the screen.
Yeah.
Well said. And, using a film as a platform for, a political view like that is, it's the climate of the times right now. That's okay.
Yes.
And, I mean, I'm looking at it from the point of view of maybe a young girl who is watching classic Star Wars, and watching classic Ghostbusters, and watching classic this and that, and it's all male-dominated protagonists. So I'm okay with them doing this for a good long while. The female protagonist exclusivity to that idea, I think, is long overdue.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that.
No, I hear you loud and clear. I am completely agreeing with you that when it's used as the strength of the film, that shouldn't be the strength of the film. Yeah, absolutely. It's when it's overly shoved down your throat. That's when it's like a bit much. Even I have never been a huge fan of, say, like Sarah Connor. I've never been a fan of that character. That's like a misfiring what Ripley could have been if she had been handled wrong. You know what I mean? I don't dislike her character. It's just kind of the way she was handled. Like, she was too masculine, and a woman doesn't have to be masculine to be a hero or to be to be heroic or anything. Like, she can still be a woman and womanly. She doesn't have to model a man. That's handling it completely wrong. Ripley was completely a woman, just a normal woman shoved into a shitty circumstance, as was the character in Rogue One. Again, like you said, not a superhero per se, and not crazy, over the top or anything, but that's the strength of that character, is that they're a normal person, man or woman, shoved into crazy circumstances, and they have to deal with them, and they step up and become a hero because of how they react to crazy circumstances. And
that's the stories that I love.
Sure, exactly. And those are the stories that resonate with everybody. It doesn't matter if the audience is a man or a woman, or if the character is a man or a woman. Exactly. And so as a separate note, I'm okay with them for a while, leaning on women for their pro tags for a while, because I think it's overdue.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Let's see. What else is people... Oh my god. A lot of stuff has been going on while we were talking. Sorry.
Sorry, I go on and on. I'm bad.
It's okay. Whoa.
Oh, me too.
There's a lot of stuff from Daryl. We're gonna have to get through this. That's okay. All right, Devin Gill says, I think Disney is going to sit on the prospect of future movies for a while. It's up to the fans, Dark Horse, video game companies to keep the franchise alive until then. Totally agree. I think if you're a fan of the EU, Alien hasn't died. I think if you just focus on the movies, you set yourself up for disappointment, because it takes a long time to make a good movie. It takes a long time for people to be available at the same time, and you know, Michael Fassbender is like the most demanded actor out there, and so is Catherine Watterson, especially with Fantastic Beasts and everything that's going on. So yeah, I think we're gonna have to wait if you're just a movie fan. But if you're on the EU, come over here. The water's nice and warm. We've got comics and books coming out, our hoo-has, and it's great. Everyone's getting their bonuses. Everyone's got cornbread. Come on down.
Very well put.
Why don't they just make a robot of Michael Fassbender and just have him being the next alien?
A real android.
Have you seen the stunt android that Disney have created?
Oh, I bet it's creepy. It
is amazing. I will post a link to that too on the blog once we finish this live roundtable. Okay, we've got a long one from the Nostromo files. Question for all three of us. Dan O'Bannon loved Lovecraftian horror themes, and they were intrinsic to his original Alien scripts. Those themes can be summed up thusly. The fear or we feel confronted by phenomena beyond our comprehension, whose scope extends beyond the narrow field of human affairs and boasts of cosmic significance. Contemplation of mankind's place in the vast, comfortless universe revealed by modern science, in which the horror springs from the discovery of appalling truth. And a naturalistic fusion of horror, science fiction in which presumptions about the nature of reality are eroded. Which of these mixture thereof do you feel would be appropriate ground to explore in future Alien prequels and or sequels?
Wow, what a question.
Yeah,
wow.
That was intense. My nose started to run. All right.
Yeah, I have a drop of milk coming out my forehead right now.
Good one.
So, Project Asheron, I think you should start.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let's have a look. Well, look, as I said before, the first film of Alien is my favorite just because of the Lovecraftian stuff in it. And to me, what it is probably the first one. The fear and awe we get when we're confronted with stuff that's beyond our comprehension, that makes us feel very small and cosmically insignificant. I think that's really what H.R. Giger's art is about. That's my interpretation, of course. Everyone can disagree. But I think what he was trying to do with a lot of his stuff was to show that in the grand scheme of things, we don't really matter. You know, when we're confronted with some out-of-world stuff, sort of like the xenomorphs, the space jockey, you know, there's a lot more going on in the universe other than just us.
Awesome. Hyperdine, what do you think?
Agreed. I couldn't put it much better than that. I think really, other than basically including all of the other Lovecraftian elements there, that's what made Alien what it is, you know. So yeah, I'd have to agree with Maitland.
Well, when it comes to me, I did this really in-depth study about how Dan O'Bannon kind of came up with the formula for Alien and how H.R. Giger contributed and all the different inspirations and how different elements in the first movie kind of set up the whole storyline or the universe aesthetic. And I think if they stick to that, how everything is interlinked, then I think it would be a good balance. I think when we go too far to the action side, things become nonsensical. And when we go too far to the, I would never imagine me saying this, but if we venture too far to the philosophical side, then it would go over a lot of people's heads. And I don't mean that in a way to talk down to people, but some people don't appreciate those sorts of details, that they don't care for it, and that's nothing to do with.
That's the thing. It's a balance, because you can't have, as you said, too much action in an alien film ruins it. Too much mystical, stuff going on, and it ruins it. So you need to be able to have both of those things work together very well, which again, I think worked perfectly in the first and second Alien film.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much, Nostromo Files, for that very in-depth question. I really like it.
Obviously,
that was great.
Random Dude asks with question mark NECA. Random Dude, where have you been? Hiding under a rock? So NECA make figurines from different sorts of franchises, and namely Alien, and they do these. Oh, what size is it? Like one.
They're like 7-inch, so something.
Yeah, I don't know the scale.
Yeah, I can never figure that. I think it's 1/8 scale.
Yeah, so they do these scale figurines, really detailed, and in some cases you could like detach parts of the figurine to make it pose differently. So it's really interesting. You should. I will place a link to the NECA site if you like.
It's 1 to 10 scale apparently.
1/10 scale.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
So I'll place a link
7-inch
to the blog. So Random Dude, you will be introduced to NECA, and you will also end up being very broke because they've got amazing stuff coming out next year.
That's to put it lightly.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ozymandias, King of Kings, who's also Lewis, one of our admins on Studio Yutani on Facebook. He's working on a couple of designs which are going to be turned into T-shirts. He's been our most productive contributor in regards to our shirt factory.
Sweet.
For design, so it's really cool. Thank you. Ozymandias also says NECA isn't producing the original cast because apparently they wouldn't sell too good. But I would definitely buy them. What? It wouldn't
makes
sell
sense.
too good.
I couldn't imagine lots of people being like, yes, I need a Parker action figure. I need a Harry Dean Stanton. I mean, for me personally, I'm like, I would have like a backup of each one of them.
Yeah, I would have a boxed version and one that I could take out.
Yeah. As soon as Lambert came out, I bought 2. I totally couldn't afford it. So.
Oh, it's a pity, but oh well.
Yeah.
Nostromo Files.
Well, you won't have to buy them. You get them for free from me.
Yay! Nostromo Files asks Hyperdian, if you had to pick a Nostromo crewman whose musical tastes might include Chris Cornell's works, which crewman would it be, and what song or album? A winky face.
Well, it would. I feel like Kane could probably relate the most to Chris Cornell's singing style. Just when, like Kane on the table, like you could totally, like when he's giving birth, you could totally overdub like old Chris Cornell songs over that, like wah. I think somebody should do that.
Chest burster coming out doing that.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be amazing. Like Spoon Man, it'd be amazing. A Black Hole Sun or something. I don't know. Probably that.
Yeah.
I will say there's a very slight musical element of to to the comic. I don't want to give too much away, but I'm trying to make the comic kind of cinematic, and there's one scene I just wrote it this week. It's a montage of watching all the crew doing their separate things on the ship, kind of in their leisure time. And if it were a film, it would have this song playing over it. In the comic, it's Brett listening to this song on the radio, and the lyrics are playing along each cell. So you can see the lyrics of this actual song from the 70s playing along. Well, and I cannot wait to put that out, because that's such a cool little thing. I may release that ahead of the comic, just as a teaser or something like that, because it's such a cool, it's almost touching. And it's going to be really cool. I'm very excited about that little scene, but yeah, and the song is pretty interesting too, but you'll have to wait for it. Sorry.
I can't wait. I want it now. That's okay.
Me too. Trust me.
It must have been a really. You didn't realize how big a project it would be, I don't think, when you took on Ash.
I did, because I did months and months of research beforehand. And by the time I was ready to sit down and just like put the narrative together, it came out of me in about an hour. And I've been fleshing it out little by little ever since, because I'm not really a writer. And I'm actually calling in a little bit of help from somebody in the community. In the next couple of weeks, probably, we're going to have to sit down via Skype and hammer some things out.
That's awesome.
And provided he's available, he's a well-known podcaster, very well-known podcaster, and also a filmmaker. But I don't want to drop his name because I don't know if he's, I don't know how attached he wants to be to it.
Okay, that's fair enough.
So him and I are going to hash over some things, and then I am going to hit the page and illustrate the hell out of the rest of the comic over the next 4 months and finish it up.
Awesome.
So, yeah, it's going to be great.
Mitch Mitchell says, I need a David and Obama in space sitcom.
I can already see it coming together, actually.
Man, I can see that happening for April Fools, definitely. That video is going to get so many views.
Maybe that's a project that I should work on with you, Mike.
Yeah, if we all want to put that audio drama together, I can do Obama and David.
I could do the little the animated drawing scenes. Somehow they meet together. Who knows?
I kind of love this idea. Let's make this happen.
All right.
Well,
there you go, Mitch Mitchell. Your dreams come true. Okay.
This is going to be good.
All right. Devin Gill says the Neomorph doesn't play around. No, it does not. Although it does play in other people's blood and their faces.
And their backs.
Yeah, and on their stomachs. You know what? My son, Alexi, he loves to climb on top of my stomach and, like, smack my head around. And every single time he does that, I think of the Neomorph. I think he's just not strong enough to pull my head off yet, so I'm still safe. Okay. Yes, Random Dude says it doesn't work when it's forced marketing. Yeah, totally agree. And I really love movies that have female protagonists that you can really feel connected and invested in. And maybe I wasn't the right demographic or age for Ghostbusters in specific. I still have yet to try out Ocean's 8, which is the one with Sandra Bullock. And I'm a jeweler, and when they said that could you set all of these diamonds into a necklace? And she's like, yeah, I can do it in an hour. And I'm like, bullshit. That is absolute bullshit. It's not realistic. But, I'm going to watch it. I'll let you guys know what I think. As a jeweler, I'm already, calling foul. But as a female, maybe I'll enjoy it. And I like the Oceans series of films. So, yeah, we'll see. Random Dude says, one day I'll visit Geiger's bar. You know what? I was in I was around there, but I don't know why I didn't end up going. I think I was just really drunk that day. I was in Europe.
Whereabouts is that?
Switzerland.
Switzerland, okay.
Yeah.
Where's that Giger bar? I want to visit that Giger bar.
I did go to the Heineken bar.
What are you saying? The Giger bar.
I did go to the Heineken factory when I was in Amsterdam. That was good.
Heineken?
Yes, Heineken.
I would love to. I hear Heineken is so much better at the brewery.
Yeah, it's because it's fresh.
It's supposed to be a huge difference.
It comes straight out of the tap. It's amazing. Too bad I don't drink beer, so I'm just telling you what other people have said.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so am I, because I haven't been there. So. Yeah.
All right, so Nostromo Files said, we passed with flying colours. Oh, about your question. Yes, thank you. We weren't sure.
Oh, sweet. I'm glad we were able to meet the expectation there.
Yeah. Pass the Lovecraft question, yep. Yeah, we're getting our bonuses tonight. Oh, yeah. We should take a look at Maitland's NECA collection and wish list. Broke is an understatement.
She's not supposed to be saying stuff like that.
That's all right.
Are we going to Switzerland?
Awesome response to the Cornell question as well. Thank you. Are we going to Switzerland? That's what Claire's asked you, Maitland.
Yeah, I know. I just responded.
I was just gonna say we should all meet up at the Giger bar.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would love to.
Yeah, that would be awesome someday.
Mitch Mitchell says that the Giga bar in Shinjuku was amazing when it was there. Oh, it sounds like it was amazing. I would love to be able to go to something like that.
Yeah. All
right. So let's get started on our list of things that we're going to go through. So this was just the open-ended Q&A. Open-ended Q&A is over. We're going to start talking about other stuff now. But we've had a lot of fun. And we'll just go through what we've discussed previously. By the way, if you follow me on Twitter, I have started an album for Vincent Ward's Alien 3 Wooden Planet being realised by Belgian bullying. So follow him and his work. I will stalk the hell out of him, and you will be able to see stuff as it gets released, because that's what I do.
Sweet.
I'm a stalker.
That's how you get it done.
Yes, that's right. So
on the interwebs. On the interwebs.
We've got a list of things to go through. So let me just pull up this list. I shared it with Maitland last night. And I had a Word document open, but my son played with the mouse and he closed it. So now I'm just going to have to go to Discord. So, all right, technology breakthroughs for 2018. Let's do a review of stuff that's happened this year that could be related to the alien universe. How crazy. They've actually started 3D metal printing. So that's really awesome, being able to model things in 3D digitally on your computer and then have it print in metal directly. And this is going to revolutionize the jewelry industry, but it's really going to revolutionize things in space. They can actually print parts that they need for the space station.
Well, they were doing a demonstration with an industrial one, and it was printing out like car panels and that, like for side panels for cars and that. So, you know, eventually when the technology improves, I could see that quickly replacing a lot of, you know, assembly line welding machines and stuff like that. Yeah,
it's going to revolutionize rapid prototyping too. So
yeah,
it's really
going to revolutionize my poverty level.
Can print money. All right. As well as that, they've created artificial embryos. So no egg, no sperm, just cells plucked from another embryo. So in a way, it's not 100% artificial, but it's on the way. And I think that is kind of we're going towards a future, especially one that's displayed in Alien Covenant, that procreation in the old-fashioned way is going to be kind of a thing of the past. That's why it would be more efficient for us to genetically engineer our offspring to ensure the survival of the species, and also for transportation, because to transport an embryo from one place in space or the Earth to another is going to be a lot more efficient when they're that small, rather than when they're a full-size human being, which requires oxygen, food, and a place to sleep, and a place to defecate, and so on and so forth.
The most important thing, yeah.
Did you hear that it was only a couple of weeks ago over in China, a scientist had successfully for the first time created a human, or a human embryo, that eventually grew up to be 2 twin girls, but they are the first genetically engineered humans ever. There was massive controversy over in China about it, and he's gone into hiding now. They can't find him. But the research, this is all, look it up.
Yeah. I know, it's pretty crazy. I think it's bad that the scientist is being prosecuted for something that the genetic modification that he did wasn't major. It was it was to make them resistant to the HIV virus by using CRISPR, which is a gene editing technique to change the GR5 gene, I think it is. Mm-hmm. But the problem is, like, I don't have a problem with it per se either. I think we need to be looking into stuff like this. The problem comes from he was following no regulations, he was following no rules. When he used CRISPR's only been used in cells that have been taken out of humans before, not cells that are growing within a human. So he's changed the DNA of those 2 girls. But CRISPR has a lot of problems. It can change random strands without scientists knowing. It can later bond different strands together. So we don't even know yet whether these girls are going to survive for very long, because there could be some massive genetic disease that's hiding in their genome somewhere, just waiting to express itself. So that's where the problems come in, where, yes, these girls have been born. Yes, they seem healthy now, but there could be massive genetic problems coming for them down the road because it wasn't monitored in the proper ways that it should have been. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like there isn't going to be... This is very... hold on a sec. I can't type and talk at the same time. Okay. So, like Peter Whalen has said, I feel like these laws and restrictions kind of stop us from innovating, but at the same time, you're right, because CRISPR is so unpredictable. Having them modify the genetics of those girls while they were in embryonic form poses a great risk, because we don't know what it could mutate to later if CRISPR is left unchecked. So we don't know whether he removed CRISPR later, or whether he just left CRISPR in there. But if you could imagine worst case scenario, World War Z, and having something mutate in the girls to create them into zombies and start the zombie apocalypse, it could totally happen. So yes,
well, that's what I mean. We're in unknown waters. This is the first human that has been genetically modified in this way. So we have really no idea. But yeah, humans, I guess.
But
so
it'll be amazing to be able. It'll be amazing to have a cure for cancer. They've actually they found a cure for cancer.
Oh, look,
just recently.
I've got no problem with this. I'm a very science-driven person. I study a lot of science at school and that, and graduated in it. But like, I think his research is good. I think we need to be researching this very thing, because it's going to come to the point one day. The more that the human race grows, the the more we become susceptible to disease. And it happens because the more of us there are and the less of us that die from disease and survive. You know, in nature, that doesn't naturally happen. There is more of us living. This sounds really bad, but there is more of us living than there should be, because if nature was to take its course, there'd be a lot more people dying. So for humans to survive and be healthy throughout our extensive lives now, we're going to need to start doing this genetic research to make our bodies more capable to deal with disease, old age, and stuff like that. But again, I'm completely for it. We should be doing this genetic research, but he did it in a way where he just chucked away the rule book and said, look, I don't care what happens to these girls as long as my results get out, you know? Like,
yeah, get published.
So, yeah, I'm all for genetic, moving forward in our genetic knowledge and being able to utilize new technologies in it, but we do have to be careful with how we do it.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
So AI for everybody. All these big tech companies have started being very open about the sort of AIs they're using, and in a lot of cases you can actually download a version and modify it yourself. One of the biggest breakthroughs, I believe, was at the beginning of the year when Google were able to create an AI that could book appointments for you and basically pass the Turing test.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I remember hearing about that.
I didn't hear about that at all.
Yeah, so people can't actually tell the difference between this AI and a human being, basically, because it's completely indistinguishable. They've had to add some protocols in where they have to get the AI to say, I am an AI and I am booking an appointment for this person. Which is fair enough, because people are getting fooled. We're reaching a point in human society where, at least over the phone, AI will be indistinguishable. And in some cases, when you have those websites where the little chatbot comes up, that's an AI too. We're going to be interacting with AIs a lot in future, so I hope that they are very mindful about the way that they do it and how they choose to use their powers.
It's just the same with that genetic stuff, isn't it? Any advancement we make, we have to be making these advancements, because if we don't, we're just going to stagnate. But we do have to be very careful.
Sure.
Neural networks. So just recently there was a bit of controversy when it came to technology, where they have self-driving cars have to determine whose life is worth more than someone else's. And I think this is quite interesting.
Question.
Kind of intersects with the Alien franchise because of the 3 laws of robotics. But when it comes to self-driving cars, this car had to determine whose life was worth more, and apparently the life of a cat is worth less than the life of a dog, and the life of a pregnant woman is worth more than the life of a school grade child. So it
sounds like a Dark Matter episode. Or Dark Matter, right?
Black Mirror, yeah.
Black Mirror, yeah. You knew what I meant.
You know, I knew what he meant, but I didn't pick up that he said the wrong thing.
Yeah, but we must have all been thinking it.
That's okay. Hyperdine's a bit twitchy. So there's a lot of interesting stuff that's going to be happening going forward with the programming of bias in AI, and I think it will affect the way that we interact with artificial intelligence in future, and the way artificial intelligence will think about us. So we need to be very careful about what we do in regards to that. So the details of that study were published online, and you can find it there. Google created something inspired by Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So you could slide a babelfish into your ear to get translations in an instant. Google has actually come up with a solution $159 pair of earbuds called the Pixel Buds will instantly translate language while people are talking. So it's an instant translator. Yeah, and that's kind of something out of Star Trek as well. I think that's really cool. It kind of brings down the language barriers that people have. And
for some people. I don't understand anyone.
It kind of makes it an easier way to connect with everybody.
Yeah, I wonder will it...
no one understands the lonely...
That, like,
makes difficult people slightly less difficult.
Yeah.
They've also came up with zero carbon neutral gas, which I think is really great. So a pilot power plant just out of Houston in Texas, or was it USA? Yeah, made this natural gas plant capture essentially all of the carbon dioxide released in the process. So that's for a carbon-free future. So we may, I don't even know whether we could reverse global warming at this point. We've kind of fucked ourselves. Sorry for the language. But that's really exciting
well,
for that development to happen. Yeah, it's exciting that development has happened.
Yeah, like, seriously, I've heard that we're like a few ticks past past that doomsday clock as far as emissions go. I think, who's that?
Yeah, no.
Who's also fucked, actually. Fuck himself.
Yeah. It's
Me
it's pretty
Too
bad.
movement.
Because at this point, really, all we can do now is work. Like, before, we could have worked on lowering and keeping stable, but now we're past that point where we have to fix the problem. We need to actually get it out of the atmosphere because we're past the point of no return.
Absolutely.
Just find another planet. Yeah. Nuke the site from orbit.
Well, that's the thing. Like, at this rate, with the way the governments are running, and I'm talking governments in general, not just the US government, the only people who are going to escape this planet are the people who are putting us in this mess. And those are the rich people who run all of the coal-fired power plants and stuff like that. I don't see your average Joe here getting up into space unless they become a slave. And in a sense, a slave to the company. That's the only way you're going to survive. Because those rich people have to have someone wait on them hand and foot. And it's not going to be their kids, and it's not going to be their neighbors.
It'll be
us.
Roy Batty.
Or robots. It's entirely possible.
4, 5. How to stay alive.
Oh my lord. Okay. There've been a materials quantum leap as well in the sort of stuff that's been able to be used in computers and stuff like that. Quantum computing, it's really reached a point where we can have, I think, computer memory that was that big before is now this big. So that's going to help with traveling into space, especially if we're going to have to contain all of the human race's information if this planet is going to be fucked. And also insight on Mars. We've got a spaceship up on Mars now. We as in the spaceship of the human race has sent up another craft, and we're planning to go to the moon so we can go to Mars. So it's really exciting.
Wait, Claw Studio is?
No, I wish. No, NASA and SpaceX.
One day, open up
We as in Claw Studio?
Launching probes.
You know what? I joked about that in my Yutani retrospective. But you know what? If we could find someone who is into space aeronautics to join the club, I would back the hell out of that with whatever little money Yutani and Claw have. So
yeah.
Excellent. All right. So that's it for the tech rundown. I will include all the links in the blog. I would like Mike to start talking about Ash, a fan fiction comic. How did it all begin? Where did it all start?
Okay, I promise this is going to be brief. I had thought I was drawing for a long time as a little kid, and I had started my own Alien 3 adaptation the same year the movie came out, and I got maybe a quarter of the way through the movie when I was in third grade, and I never picked it up. So years later, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I was looking at that, and it made me think, like, I'd love to do something relating to the original movie, maybe something about Ash. And I drew up like a cover for a comic for it just for fun one day, and I found that about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when I was preparing to move to Seattle. And when I arrived in Seattle, I had a studio where I work, and I said, you know what, why don't I do double duty with this studio and create this comic and write the story. So I always wanted to do something based in Ridley Scott's Alien, and something inside the Nostromo, something about the design of the Nostromo was just like so attractive. I always wanted to do something like that. So this was a great opportunity. I was like, where is that little egg in Alien? That little egg of a story that I can tell, something from Alien, which was difficult at first because it's such a lean story. There's so little, the story is very simple. There's not a lot of talking about the rest of the universe or anything, but I said, oh, there we go. Original science officer. Who was the original science officer? So we're going into that a lot into this, in this story. Actually, the original science officer is pretty much the protagonist. I'm playing with possibly a separate character even being the main protagonist, and Ash is still the bad guy in my story. We're not making him sympathetic or anything. Ash is Ash.
That sounds really exciting. And it's you're aiming for Alien Day to release it, or the 40th anniversary, which is earlier.
The 40th anniversary of the film, because I want it to tie in. I want this to be something you can kind of sit down with while you watch the movie. And there are all kinds of things I looked for in my months of research prior to starting writing the comic. I was like trying to find little things, questions that the movie raises that it never answers. And just as little Easter eggs in my story that come into play narratively, questions we can answer. Why was there only one escape shuttle for the Nostromo? Why couldn't they take 2 escape shuttles? I've even slightly playing with I don't want to go there. So I'm answering all kinds of little questions and dropping hints and stuff like that. So it's going to be cool.
Yay! Do you have any experience or professional experience in doing comics?
No.
No? So this is your first comic?
Yeah. So the main reason I'm doing this is I'm kind of trying to get into illustration professionally. So I said a great way for me to kind of merge my various interests would be to learn a little bit more about Illustrator and Photoshop and illustrate a comic the old school method all the way through. Do it, play in a popular sandbox like Alien or Star Wars or something like that. I figured Alien is my first love, and Star Wars is getting a lot of face time right now. So I said Alien's definitely the way to go. And that's a great way for me to get my name out there, get noticed. And if nothing ever happens, then it'll be my contribution to the Alien fandom. I can be proud of.
Awesome.
So,
did you have any questions, Maitland, for Hyperdine?
He's like, nah.
None that I can think of right now.
All right, cool. Now, what's next on the list? We've got the Alien Day podcast. So I wanted to talk about what I went through to kind of pull that off. It all started with contacting Dominic Hailstone because he was the first person that I had interviewed for the Yutani blog. And I asked him if he could send in through a greeting, and he said, yeah. And I thought, oh, that was pretty easy. I wonder how many more people I could get greetings from. So I pretty much contacted everyone that I felt like should have a voice to kind of wish a happy Alien Day. So there's, of course, Mike Scuderi. There was who did a fantastic little clip. We also had Mr. H, and we had Alien Theory. We had Lorelei King, Benjamin Rigby, who played Ledward in Alien Covenant. We also had Alex White, author of The Cold Forge. We had Gabriel Hardman, who is a comics artist and story writer for Aliens Dust to Dust. We had loads of people from the Alien fan community, which was absolutely amazing to have the sort of participation that we had. It was just a matter of asking people to commit to recording and then bugging the hell out of them to remember to send it to me. Tristan originally promised a clip, but he didn't make the deadline. So, and that was because he was working on other stuff, and now I know it was the Alien Isolation and Aliens Defiance sequel. So there you go. So I've got something interesting planned for Alien Day / the 40th anniversary next year. So I hope that people will send in their greetings again, but they might be asked to do something a little extra. Okay.
I'm in.
Excellent.
Yep. Sign me up.
Awesome. I really enjoy doing these things. I'm really new to sound editing, so I apologize to people who have to put up with my very amateurish videos and recordings. I'm still learning. I had to teach myself how to use Adobe Audition, and that was a steep learning curve for someone who had never done sound editing before. So thanks for your understanding. My visit to Odd Studio. Yeah, I ended up going to Odd Studio. How crazy is that?
Yeah, rub it in our face.
I did try to get to meet up with you at Comic-Con. Is it? No.
Yeah.
Supernova.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
yes,
Supernova in Sydney to meet Dane and Matt. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Special thanks to Jamie Prater at Perfect Organism Podcast. I feel that if he hadn't organised the interview with Odd Studio previously, that we had collaborated in interviewing them, I feel like Adam Johansson may not have answered my email, and that's nothing on him. He's a busy man, and I'm sure he gets requests like this all the time. So it was very kind of him to be able to allow me to go and see everything and touch everything. On a bit more of a somber note,
like where are those David body casts? Do you guys have any of those right now?
No, those were all those were all packed up in a shipping container. Yes, I would have walked out with an egg under my arm if I could, but they're a bit too big.
No, it's very tempting.
They might not let me visit again, so I have to behave myself. The Alien Awakening animated series. Maitland, would you like to talk about how you started with that?
Yeah. So with the beginnings of the Alien Awakening animated series started, I think it was around August, maybe July of 2017. So last year, I was contacted by a man named Darren Edward Lee. He messaged me in the comments of a lot of my YouTube videos and was getting very passionate about some of the theories I was making. He agreed with some and he didn't agree with others, and he asked if we could work on a few theories together, putting together both of our sort of creative visions. So I emailed him, and then we ended up coming up with a script for Away, and it was really we started out calling it The Way to Save the Alien franchise, which was the central idea was to bring together both the prequels of Alien, the original film, and tie them together so that it was one seamless story. Because at this point, we weren't sure whether, another prequel was happening. So we created Alien Awakening. We decided to do it in an animated series instead of just a readout to make it a little bit more interesting. Darren worked very hard on the script. I helped with the first 2 episodes in scripting, with just a way to drive it into like where it could fit within the Prometheus mythos and link it back to Alien. So we tried to remystify the space jockey and the xenomorph, make them not David's creation, but David is aspiring to become someone who could create the xenomorph, like a godlike figure. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we tried to fix up that fans really weren't happy about with the prequel series, and really that was our vision for it. We brought out the first episode in October 31st, 2017, and then episode 2 was about, I think, December or January or something like that. And we worked very hard. We were emailing like 4 times a day. And then it got to the point after the release of episode 2 where we were talking about the scripts. I lost contact with him for a while. And it took about, I would say, 6 months for me to be able to get in contact with him again. And it wasn't him. It was his wife. And I asked her where Darren was and that we were working on this project. And she informed me that he had passed away.
Horrible.
Yeah. So I talked with her for a while and we worked out, like I asked if it was okay for me to continue the series, and she actually sent me some of the speeches that were read out at his funeral, and a lot of them included the Alien Awakening series.
Wow.
And yeah, it meant a lot to him. He said his family started messaging me, like cousins and stuff like that, and they started saying that they really wanted me to keep doing it and they wanted me to finish it off because it was really sort of part of his final legacy, I guess, that he never got to finish. So I released episode 3 without Darren. I used some of his writing, but most of it was my own. And episode 4 and onwards will be a mixture between his vision and mine. And the series for me is still what it was. I'm still trying to bring something to the fans that satisfies both the prequel fans and the sequel fans and the original film. But as well, it's sort of a bit more personal to me, sort of giving, because he has a son who I'm going to say is going to be a pretty big Alien fan because their whole family is. And I want something for, his family and the fans of the universe to be able to see that Darren created this with me and, sort of immortalize his contribution to the fandom within this series. So that's really my drive for being able to do the animated series. Episode 4 is releasing someday now, very soon. I've had a few setbacks with school and stuff like that and work, but I'm almost done. It should be released soon. I would just like to give a special thank you to voice actors. So Mother and Mike, you two have been amazing. Mike with your David and your Walter has been phenomenal.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. It means a lot to have all of you come on and help me with it.
Mm-hmm.
I would really love to have, be able to give back something to you guys. And I have something planned for everyone that has helped when the final episode releases, but I'm not going to tell you what that is now. But I would also just like to thank Travis Smith, who plays Tennessee in the following episodes. Sophie, I think it's Reyes. She plays a new colonist character I've created. And to Derek from the Alien Theory YouTube channel, who is also playing a new colonist that I've created within the episode. So really, I'd just like to say thanks to everyone who has helped me with the project. Thanks to everyone who supports it and keeps wanting it. And I'd just like to say a special thank you to Darren because if Darren hadn't have come along and had the passion that he did, it probably would never have become a thing.
Oh,
It's genius
amazing.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, try not to get too emotional.
Understandable.
I feel really bad because because I really love Alien Covenant, and when you I saw you on the LV426 Discord, and when you said you were starting an animated series because you weren't satisfied with the prequels, I was like, you're one of those haters. I was like, I hope you fail. But but then I came around after I saw your animations and stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, so this is not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, no, it was never our intention because me and Darren, like, I still like the prequels. I don't mind Alien Covenant. I love Prometheus, and he was of the very same mindset. It wasn't that we didn't like any of the films; it's that we felt like there was a big bridge between two of them, like, you know, the prequels and Alien. Well, there was a big bridge to get to, and we just wanted a way so that all fans of the Alien community could come together, see that, and say, okay, that makes sense. You know, that fits, that works, that satisfies, you know, my beliefs, but it also means that I can enjoy the prequels now, or, you know, vice versa. I enjoyed the prequels, but now I can enjoy the sequels now.
Totally.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's great.
So I apologize. I'm very honest about
Oh, don't apologize.
Everything. So I want to say I am sorry that I assumed wrong, and you're doing a fantastic job, and it really honors me to be part of this project, even in such a small part. Whatever I can contribute, I wish I could do more.
Anything.
I cannot wait to see the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm like, just to let people know kind of what happens, kind of peek behind the curtain. We get sent our lines and we read them and record them, and then they're all edited in, and we do, if you're part of Project Asheron's Patreon, you get a sneak peek of the work before it even gets released, and then we kind of get a sneak peek as well as contributors, but then we kind of see it kind of at the same time that you guys do. So it's really amazing to kind of see all of this talent put together, you know, the drawing, the voices, the effects, everything. It's just amazing. So yeah, if you're not part of his Patreon, you should definitely at least consider, you know, $1, $5, $20, whatever. Every contribution, a little bit helps.
Yeah, very true. Thank you very much for that.
No problem. Okay, on to the next topic. Oh, got to get back to that screen. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm off it too, actually.
Yeah. So, rebranding of Yutani blog to Studio Yutani. So, that's a bit obvious, but for people who don't know, I started out as a blog in Tumblr, and then I got the studio, so now I kind of have a base for where to conduct all of my alien things. And I decided that I wanted to have the name of the blog encapsulate that. So we had a vote, and we looking at Yutani Corporation, Yutani Collective, all sorts of stuff, but then I believe it might have been Being Graphic on Twitter, said to me that he really liked the sound of Studio Ghibli, being one of his favorite animation houses, and he thought that Studio Yutani had a good ring to it. And I thought, like, you know what? I agree. I'm a big fan of Studio Ghibli, and I think that name really suits. So that's perfect. So yeah, so now we are Yutani.studio for the website, and Yutani.blog will still lead to our website for 1 more year, but then it will disconnect after that. So everyone has a year to get used to our new address. So yeah, I already covered what I'm doing with Ancient of Days, which is the the Emerald Crystal and the Pursuit of Perfection. So stay tuned for stuff about that. I'm not sure whether I'll be doing all of the voice acting this time. I'm going to see if we can get some more people in and make this video or these videos really exciting and amazing. As well as that, we started the Westworld minisodes this year. I did the primer with Connor Coulson, but unfortunately, due to personal issues, he had to leave. So you can still listen to Connor on Prometheus by minute. Pending health issues stopped him from being able to be a contributor to Yutani, but he hasn't left our group. We still promote his podcast, and he's still warmly welcome to any of the events that we have. He's also contributed his review of the David Storings book, so he was able to record that when he was in better health. So we love you, Connor. Don't worry, you're still part of the team, and I look forward to listening to your new Prometheus by Minute podcast coming up. So I had Mike Andrews join. So Mike, are you there? Let's see.
Doesn't appear to be so far.
We're having a couple of issues with okay. Mike.
Technical issues? No way, I don't believe it.
Yeah, I got technical issues all the time. Technology hates me, but I love technology. Right.
One way love.
Yeah. So Mike, my co-admin, who I'm trying to get onto the Skype call right now.
I hear you, but I don't see you.
Oh, there you are.
Hi.
There he is.
Hello. All right, so I've got video of him at the moment. We couldn't get Skype video to work, so you don't have to do video if you don't want to.
Oh yeah, I'm all alone here. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Okay, all right, we're all set.
All right, cool. So I was just saying that now we've got you doing the Westworld minisodes with me, because stepping in for Connor, and we've only managed to scrape 2 of the episodes. I didn't realize what such a big project analyzing Westworld would be. I should have known, because it's steeped in so much mystery and technology, that it really should have more time dedicated to it. So hopefully, maybe we won't go with the structure of episode by episode, but we will have general talking points in 2019, just because of how busy our schedules will be. So. Yeah,
and I find going by episode, we jump around everywhere anyway, throughout the series. So if we could probably group it thematically or in some way related to that, and it might make it a little easier for both of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're also going to be starting our Blade Runner minisodes. So I had Stu Davis, Being Graphic, and a bunch of other people on Twitter have requested that we cover Blade Runner. And we do understand that there is the Blade Runner podcast, which Jamie and Daniel and Patrick and so on contribute to, and we're 100% support with them. But we've got our fans who've requested us to ask about our thoughts on the movies and what we think. So we're just going to do a couple of mini-sodes and talk about, different aspects that interest us. Of course, for me, it's the replicants and, of course, Joy in 2049 and stuff like that. So I really look forward to having a small section of our, at least, Yutani streams or Yutani podcasts to cover this.
In this format, I think it'd be fun with all of us talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Whoever can make it, you're invited. Yutani is huge now. We've got managers on our Discord. We've got managers on the blog, on YouTube, and on Reddit. So, oh yes, just in case you guys don't know, Yutani have a Reddit, and you can go there right now and post alien stuff. And I would really appreciate it if you do, because it's pretty quiet. But apart from that,
which one is that?
let me just say LV223. So
yes. Yeah.
LV223.
I do try and post there when I can.
Yes. So please do. I'm going to share the Reddit there on YouTube. So
yeah, I'll do that as well. Is it the one? Oh yeah, okay, I see it. Because there's two. Oh no, there's 426 and 223. It looks like.
Yeah, 223 is us. So after Covenant came out, there was a pretty upsetting reception to it, and basically LV223 was created so people could talk about, I think even as far back as Prometheus, talk about Prometheus without getting slammed. LV426 is a great place. There's really nice people in there, but there's also people who really are hard to be around. And you can't talk about something you love when there's people like that around.
It sucks when it's like that, because I think everyone should be able to have their own creative inputs anyway.
Yeah, we're adults. We should be able to get along. If we can't get along on Earth, how the hell are we going to get along in space?
Like kids in the playground.
Yeah, exactly. So LV223, subscribe, come along, share your input, share pictures. If you've already posted it on LV426, cross-post it to LV223. No biggie.
There you go. I just posted for you.
Yay! All right. All of my screens have gone all funny. Hold on. Just give me a sec. Give me one moment. I don't know if Skype is going to cut out because it's acting a bit weird.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. It's all right. Cool. Okay, next talking point is the Alien Isolation book. Now, I messaged Keith last night on Twitter, so if you stalk me on Twitter, you can see me stalking people in real time. So Studio Yutani, if you want to follow me, I asked Keith R.A.D. Candido about the Alien Isolation book, which was supposed to be due. I had trouble
pronouncing that too.
Yeah, due in January, and apparently it's delayed until July, and it could be for a matter of different things. It could be because of the comic coming out, which is the Aliens Resistance, maybe impacting it, or it could be other projects that Keith is working on, but we don't know what it is. And it was the same with Gabriel Hardman as well, with Dust to Dust. There was massive delays because he was working on
I think they heard my comic was going to be coming out, and they were like, maybe we should hold off.
Exactly.
Yes,
they want to oversaturate.
You put the fear in them. I like it. But we've got a couple of other different things that we're expecting for Alien next year as well. We've got the Alien Echo book by Mira Grant, which is due out on the 9th of April, which is this author is really good at books about biological warfare. So I really love the path that they're going down. I think Alex White kind of set the trend with Alien the Cold Forge. So yeah,
it seems like something they're going to explore in Aliens Resistance as well.
Interesting. I like
the
it.
biological warfare thing. It feels like, from what I can tell anyway, it feels like there's going to be like a little installation, and then Ripley and her name is escaping me. That's terrible.
Zula.
Yeah.
I'm just glad they're bringing back the wheat.
Oh, thank God.
Yes.
I was like, yes, wheat.
Yes, it's a universe aesthetic. They have to keep the wheat.
Yeah. That's the epitome of alien organisms.
Yeah.
When they can cultivate their own agriculture, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's the height of their civilization. Who planted the wheat?
They'd that
All right.
So Echo's the young adult novel. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
they're marketing it as young adult, but I think it's just a way to get into the young adult section because the science fiction section is so far away from the young adult section, and the young adult section, the books just fly off the shelf. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say when I first heard it, I kind of like recoiled a little, and I was like, oh no, that's not gonna be good. But when I look back, when I was a kid and I was watching Alien for the first time, I think I wanted something a little less horrifying, a little more accessible, because it scared the hell out of me when I saw them take Kane's helmet off and the facehugger was there. It looked so real. It still does. It's horrible.
Love it.
It's still probably some of the best practical and special effects that have come out of movies.
Oh, it's amazing. And all of the Alien movies, even if we don't like to mention Resurrection, like it had some pretty amazing effects to it.
Oh yeah.
And
that was the strength of that movie. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. The one thing we can all agree on, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's cool that they're at least like testing the waters and seeing if this is going to work.
As long as we don't get an Operation Aliens Sunday morning cartoon with Corporal Hicks, Sergeant Drake. Of course, Apone would be exactly the same as he is in the movie.
I don't know. I would watch it.
I probably would too. Who am I kidding?
I'd probably have.
What are we
be getting up early in the morning, eating Cheerios.
I love it. Saturday morning cartoons is my thing.
Oh yeah.
Heck yes.
So, those are just a couple of things that we're expecting for next year, and now they've announced the making of Alien book, which is due on the 23rd of April, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
I think
have they ever done one of those before?
Is it like because we have so many making of Alien books, and I've seen that this one is including stuff that we don't know about, presumably.
Yeah.
Supposedly,
yeah.
So the guy, R.W. Rinsler, or J.W. Rinsler, has made really comprehensive making of books for Planet of the Apes, Star Wars, and for other IPs. So I think it'll be really good. But there's a couple of things that I'm concerned about. There's some people who worked on the sets and stuff that they didn't end up contacting. And I found that out through the AVP Galaxy forum. So if you're on the AVP Galaxy forum, look it up. There's some really interesting information there.
As long as it's not like Alien the Archive. Was anybody as disappointed with that book as I was when Alien the Archive came out?
All 4 movies?
Yeah, it's like a coffee table book. It's an Alien book for people who don't really care about Alien.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
I haven't actually seen it.
Like the photos in it are all like blown up. They're all like really bad fidelity and just terrible, horrible book.
The information is great, but the pictures...
Like they just went on the internet and grabbed some horrible screen grabs. Let's make a book out of this.
It definitely had a lot of compressed information, which was helpful for research purposes, but other than that, it's kind of like bare bones compared to some of the other books that have come out.
Yeah, I was like, what? Why did I order this? And it's huge, too. I'm like, there's just no reason for me to own this thing.
Yeah. And there's a lot of big Alien books out there that are just taking up so much space and like breaking my shelves on my bookcase.
Especially Alien the Archive.
Especially Archive, yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I digress.
Just wait till we start talking about Colonial Marines.
I got a lot of thoughts on that.
I knew that was going to spark some.
So yeah, I'll
on the Alien game coming out, Clara?
Sorry?
Is there any news on that Alien game that's supposedly coming out?
Okay. Who was very disappointed at the Game Awards? Who sat there for hours and then got nothing?
Right? What the hell?
I recorded the whole damn thing and there was nothing. I was like, delete.
What happened?
I was sitting there on my Discord and I'm like, all right, this game announced, this game announced, this game announced. I'm like, come on, let's go.
Any moment now. Any moment.
And then it's just like, thank you for coming and watching the Game Awards stream. I'm like, excuse me.
Yeah, I
reacted to that basically like when if you've ever seen the movie Step Brothers, when they tell Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly that they have to move out and get jobs, that was exactly my response at the end of that.
Yeah. So disappointing.
It was a massive disappointment. But, you know, it's probably for the best. I don't think there's going to be much to this new Alien game, I hate to say.
Oh.
Having a look at the back catalogue of what Fox Next have released this year, if they release it next year, I feel like it would be in the vein of those games. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, have a look at X-Files Deep State and have a look at Marvel Strike Force.
Oh.
But
As long as Randy Pitchfork isn't involved in it, I'm okay.
okay.
Fraud. Yeah.
Excellent.
Never blame the fans. Ever. Don't blame the people who bought the game.
Yeah, exactly. That was just
Moron.
so rude.
What a goof.
Schmuck.
Yeah.
No respect there for him.
Hey, I'm walking here. Playing video games here.
Blade Runner 2049 get like some type of mobile game that came out?
Oh,
Am I crazy?
Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is coming out, and it looks like it does come out of the Blade Runner universe, but it hasn't been released yet. It was just announced, so I'm hoping it will.
Wasn't there an
will come soon.
animated series?
Yeah, so next year there's going to be an animated Blade Runner series called Black Lotus, which is quite exciting. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that, and I believe Shoulder of Orion podcast, the Blade Runner podcast, will be covering that as well. So that'll be.
I wonder who they'll get to do Harrison Ford's voice in that. Like if they're just gonna get a guy off the street, who's gonna come in.
There, you're hired.
Hi, I'm Rick Decker.
Well, here's his audition.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you guys.
It's okay. It's very entertaining. So next year, I've been trying to get together a whole bunch of us. I mean people, big players within the Alien fandom universe. So people like Perfect Organism, AVP Galaxy, Project Acheron, myself, and a bunch of others. I believe Nick from Hybrid Network wants to contribute as well. And we're going to team up and do something special for Alien Day and the anniversary of Alien. So keep an ear to the ground about that. We'll release more details as we discuss it and find out what we're going to do. Our annual Christmas card giveaway. So if you'd like a Christmas card from me, from Mother, just send us your address. I know it sounds dodgy, but send me your
Give me your address and I'll send you a Christmas card.
Snail mail address, please, and you can PM it to me on. Actually, no, send it through the blog. So I've got email copies. Otherwise, I won't be able to keep track because I'm on a lot of social medias, and if you message me on one thing, I might miss it and not attribute it. So head to Yutani.studio right now, go to the Contact Us section, and for the subject, write Christmas card, and for the content discussion part, you can say gimme, and then put your address, and I will send one out to you. So we have Devin Gill to thank for creating our Christmas card this year. And if you are on Patreon and you're subscribed, you would have already seen the Christmas card. But we are not going live with that design until Christmas Day. So if you'd like to be surprised, send me your details now, and I will mail out that postcard as soon as I get it from the printers. So that's exciting.
Is there a tier of patron that get that anyway, or?
Everyone who gives me their address will get one.
Okay, all right.
I'm feeling a bit cashed up right now with my tax return, so I'm gonna splurge $1 or $2 and send people out the Christmas card. So yeah, exclusive. I've also decided to do the NECA Alien Queen draw. Well, I've got you guys.
Yeah.
I'll go get my drum set so I can do drum roll.
You've got a drum set? That is adorable. I have to go get my alien queen. I didn't even have my alien queen with me. She's in the bedroom, but I really don't feel like going and grabbing her. She's resting at the moment. Yeah. She's
sleeping.
She's just eviscerated Bishop, and she's collecting herself.
That's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, it is.
She
needs
a good bath.
She does. So, I've been inspired by Project Acheron to use the random name picker, and I don't think I'll be able to stream this screen live. Can I? No, I can't. Because I didn't set it up, because I'm a fool. But I've got two columns of people who could possibly win. And thank you, Benjamin Scottford, who's upped his Patreon contribution to $10. But he's requested that he doesn't get drawn for the Gary Lockwood photo because he's not as big a fan of 2001: A Space Odyssey as other people. So if you're not a fan, just tell me. Then I won't send the photo out to you. You can just be drawn for the other one. So here it is. The signed photo from Gary Lockwood from when I went to go see him at the 2001 screening. That was my second screening of the year. I think I'm going to go again. I think I'm going to go to IMAX with my friend Scott and go watch
2001?
Yeah. So we're gonna get like really trashed and go watch the movie because that's the best way to do it.
Sounds appropriate.
Yeah.
That is the way to do it.
So we'll do the draw now for the Gary Lockwood print. So I've got on the list we've got Lady Anne, Sarah Hall, Michael Andrews, and Pete Wayland. All right. Let's click the button, and the winner is Michael Andrews.
What?
Oh, nice, man.
That's fixed.
It's rigged.
I mean, I think it would be okay if you did it again for somebody else.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I've got plenty of Alien and whatnot stuff. I think I need to slow down on that. that train.
Yeah, you're going to need more room.
All his other queen aliens are going to be jealous anyway.
No, not even kidding. Like the NECA queen that I have, the crest broke off, so I just have to glue it back on somehow. But
the crest broke off? That's not good.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
What were you doing with it?
Well, it's, that's not important.
Slow Saturday night?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
We don't talk about that, okay?
What happens in the hive stays in the hive, okay?
Yeah.
We need a drum set.
We do.
Yeah,
all right, so I will pick another random name because Mike has graciously declined the prize because I have sent him a lot of shit, to be honest. So we'll see out of Lady Anne, Sarah Hall, and P. Wayland who's going to win the prize. And Lady Anne. Ta-da! Congratulations,
Yay.
Lady Anne.
Nice.
You are our winner of the signed Gary Lockwood photograph. I will mail that off to you along with other Yutani goodies. And she's our biggest supporter. She gives us a lot every month, and we are very thankful for her contribution. She's an amazing person and so insightful with her feedback as well, so it's great. Thank you, Lady Anne. And now we're going to do the draw for the NECA Alien Queen. So Mike, did you want to be in the draw for this?
Nope, I'm good.
No, you good? Okay.
I'll live.
All right. Take him off the list. There we go. So we have Benjamin Scottford, Zachary Rice, P. Wayland, JB, Project Acheron, Daniel Cooper, Georgina Gray, Zeno Park, Noah Howard, and Sean Hewitt.
Oh, Sean.
Also, Lady Anne and Sarah Hall. So if Lady Anne wins again, she might win both prizes. We don't know. We've made it so anyone who wants to be in the draw $2 and up will win. I just want to mention that next year, when we do our Patreon draws monthly, that you will have to be on the $5 tier or higher to win a prize. So rip off. I'm sorry. Buying cool things and sending you stuff costs me a lot of cash, and I've got to invest it in my business now and invest it in other projects for Yutani, such as the Prometheus translation. So that's what everyone will be getting as well. So everyone who is on our Patreon, $1 or $50 or whatever, you'll get access to the prologue once it's translated by Sachi, which we are expecting on Christmas as well.
Sweet.
That'll be a good present.
Yeah. Be really good. Okay, so picking our winner for the NECA Alien Queen. Drum roll, please. And the winner is Sarah Hall.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. Now, Sarah was actually the first person to sub to my Patreon, so which is fantastic. Thank you, Sarah. I will be sending you a NECA Alien Queen. Congratulations. Oh, that's going to hurt the back pocket. Totally worth it. By the way, if there are any sponsors out there who'd like to sponsor Studio Yutani, I would be very grateful. That means I would be able to create better content, conduct more interviews, and also give away cooler prizes, or at least prizes more often. So yes, please do. We are looking for themed sponsors for our Yutani live stream and blog. All right, that's pretty much a wrap. Unless you guys have anything to input on our year.
Let's see. Oh, this is a short thing, but why did Prometheus not get a book release anywhere but Japan? Or anywhere else besides Japan?
I think that has something to do with either Damon Lindelof or John Spates. They decided to have a Japanese version of the book go out. And it was, I think, separate from what I think Ridley Scott okayed it. Otherwise, it wouldn't have come out. Whose cat is that?
Yeah. Mine. I'm sorry.
Is it Josie?
She had something to add.
Fantastic.
Answer, sure.
So yeah, it was never really clear as to why there was. It's okay. It was never really clear as to why there was only a Japanese book that came out for Prometheus. But yeah, we're doing the translation, so soon we won't have to worry. I've also got translations coming through from Benjamin Scottford, who received the Premages.
I'm so sorry.
It's so cute. Premages fan comic. So he's translated that using Google Translate. If anyone knows Thai and would like to translate the comic for us, please get in contact and let us know. Otherwise, we'll be releasing this translation through the blog. Okay. So yeah, I think this is it. We've had our last live stream / podcast of the year. We're all taking a break because we've got our lives to continue on with. We've got Christmas. I've got the studio set up. We've got our families to hang out with. All girlfriends, all cats.
All good things.
Yes, all good things. And we'll be back in the new year. I don't know exactly when. I haven't really planned that far ahead, but we are planning to be back. So it's been really great. We've moved from Tumblr to WordPress, so this would be our 1 year anniversary being on the blog. It's also our 1 year podcast anniversary, and now we're switching to live casts. So we're always changing and always morphing into new things, I guess. for the betterment of Yutani. Is there anything that you guys would like to say before signing off? Let's start with you, Project Asheron.
Probably just, again, thank you for everyone's support throughout the year, especially on the animated series, and just thank you to you, Mother, and Mike, and everyone that has, helped me more so this year, fit it a little bit more to the alien community, and be able to work with everyone.
Awesome. Hyperdine, do you have anything to say?
I echo those sentiments exactly. It's been quite a year, just getting to know everybody and being invited into the community. It's pretty crazy being in a new city on your own, and it's been really great to have the support of the community and shared interests of people around the world, and people who've grabbed on and who've been interested in my project, or those who are not attached to my project in any way or anything. Yeah, it's been really great, especially you, Clara. Like, very, very just gracious, giving, awesome person. Just like really glad you're doing everything you're doing. You're doing great work. Keep it up.
Shucks. When I get my robot buddy and take over the world, I'll kill you last.
Oh.
I appreciate that.
That's an honor. Yeah.
Just kidding.
I'd be delighted.
All right. We can take some questions from the crowd just as Mike gives us his closing statements as we're about to sign off. So, Mike, you joined us a bit late in the live stream, but I appreciate you here.
Yeah, thanks for still allowing me to come on. I just moved into a new place, and it's been pretty hectic, so finally got everything set up, and I found out I'm going to be teaching abroad for a few months as well, so that's going to be crazy. Yeah, but the last couple years with the alien community, through you, Clara, and through Yutani, it's been really special, and I just feel like I'm some guy who likes this stuff. It's like just like a fan, and being involved with creative processes with the thing that I love so much is tremendous, and it's awesome, and getting to meet everybody, and I just wanted to say thank you to you guys, and I hope to keep up and continue this journey with you guys.
Excellent. Thank you so much for everything that you do, Mike. Stepping in for Connor when he can do the podcasts anymore, to helping out with the blog and with general admin. It's been really great, and we're going to miss you when you go on your little excursion, I guess.
Yeah.
Your exchange.
Yeah. I hope that I can retain the alien family with me, though, and at least work on some things with you guys. So we'll be pending on that for a while.
Yeah, we'll see what you're available to do. But the thing with Yutani, even though we've got a lot of people contributing, people only contribute as much as they can. There's not a limit to what people want to do. If people want to have an anonymous profile, we respect that. We will welcome anyone who's willing to help out, basically. So if you think that you could be part of Studio Yutani, embody the ideals that we have, and do what we do, PM me, and we'll find something for you to contribute, even if it's just replying in the comments section of posts, or interacting with fellow colonists on LV223, our Reddit, or even talking to people on Discord. There's a place for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay, let's open up the questions, just in case, because you've had Mike late to the live stream. Is there anyone out there who's got any questions for us before we sign off? There's going to be a bit of lag, so we should allow for that.
Well, I wanted to say, too, I thought of... I was thinking of starting a couple new series, either blog posts or some something in that nature related to Fallout. I don't know if you guys care about Fallout very much, but
well, as of 76, it's a bit up in the air. But
yeah. I mean, like Fallout 3 and 4 have a couple of, well, especially 4 have very deep connections to AI and androids and the morality around that, and I think it would be worth looking into and discussing with everybody. So, if that's something anyone's interested in, please let us know, because I'd be happy to start developing that.
You know, I'd be interested in.
Yeah.
Sweet.
We've got, if people don't know, Yutani is not exclusively for Alien, although Alien is main part of it. But we also cover AI, robotics, science fiction, technology, and when we talk about robotics, we also talk about in-game robots, whether they're characters, personality, or even in-game AIs, if you want to talk about the AI in Alien Isolation and how the xenomorph randomly attacks you. Whatever you think you can contribute, we accept contributors to our blog, and you can write an article. I'll proofread it for you. If you're worried about your spelling, we'll get people to pull art for you, make GIFs. We've got a wealthy resource of fans that are willing to help each other out and create good content. So that's what we want to do with Yutani, and if you feel like you can contribute in that way, please do. Just hit us up at the blog, and we look forward to seeing an article or a contribution or content created by you. Cool. Any questions? No questions. All right, guys. I guess that's it.
They're like Hyperdyne might start talking again.
or David, or Ash, or even Obama.
How many people is this guy?
It's very entertaining. Oh, yes. I'm going to announce it on the live stream now. We are going to have a new intro. So at least Mike feels pressured to make one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to do that. Yeah, it's going to be great.
We're going to make a new Yutani intro. Mike's going to help us out with some in-universe characters. We might have a bit of dialogue. If you'd like to contribute to that, yeah, let us know.
You are becoming hysterical.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Oh, man, that's very freaky.
I love those guys.
Yeah. I don't. I only love Davis. Cool. So, yeah, I guess this is everyone at Studio Yutani wishing you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Congratulations to Lady Anne and Sarah Hall for winning those prizes. And, yeah, please connect to us. Like, I think in the details of this live stream, you can actually see connections to everywhere that we're on. We're on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. We're still on Tumblr, pending the mass exodus, which is happening on the 19th, because I've had just about every single post of mine flagged for sensitive content. We're on Yutani Discord. We're on Instagram as well. And if you like the concepts artists, I regularly have them commenting on our posts. So please follow. And we also have the LV223 Reddit, which is now, as of the other day, became solely mine, because the guy who created it originally, who gave me admin access, decided he didn't really want to do it anymore. So, yeah. We're slowly taking over the world.
There we go. We got to get that in the intro.
Yes. So, yeah. Thank you very much. So, everyone, sound off your sign off, Maitland.
Wait, what?
You gotta sign off.
This
is Project Acheron signing off.
This is Project Acheron, and I am signing off now. Peace.
Okay. Then we have Hyperdyne.
Sorry, that was very out of left field.
Yes, it was very out of left field. We're going to have to practice that if you're going to be my co-host
left
next
field,
year.
I'll give you left field. This is Rodney Dangerfield signing off.
Oh my god, who was that?
That was me. That was Hyperdyne.
Oh,
That was me
Hyperdyne,
signing
the
off.
man of a million
Jeez.
voices.
Wow, you said left field, so I was like, I want to go lefter field than that.
Awesome. And sign off from my beautiful co-admin and friend, Mike Andrews, aka Officer Joe K.
This is your average Joe signing off.
All right. Thank you,
I'm
everybody,
having
for
a bit of a
coming.
sign-off.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the live stream, our first Roundtable live stream. And I hope to hear and see you guys next time. This is Mother, last survivor of Yutani Studio, signing off.